Hey guys, it's Daniel and Kendall from The Rich Life. Sounds so professional. We are doing a little bit different of a video today. If you don't know, November is National Adoption Month, and and I'm assuming you know that we have adopted.
That
And
little black boy?
yeah, stop. That's terrible. I'm cutting that out. No. But a friend of mine is about to start her adoption journey. I guess she's kind of beginning. It's the paperwork that is part of your journey. And she asked for us to share our adoption journey with her, and she's kind of going to share it with her friends. So we're going to do that. And it's been a while since we've actually shared it, talked about it,
Yeah.
you know, and we've done this video actually a long time ago. And Hampton was a baby when we did it, and I'm not even sure the reasons why we did it, but it was a long time ago. So we're gonna redo it, and it's still very fresh. Oh, we did it for fun. Oh, that's right. Okay. So we're gonna do that with you guys now. So you're actually gonna be able to hear our adoption story. So here we go.
I'm gonna live the rich life, full and best life. So if y'all know what I mean, put your hands up and declare with me. Yeah, I'm full of faith. I'm gonna live the good life, beautiful and glorious life. So if y'all know what I mean, put your hands up and declare with me. Yeah, I'm full of faith.
Okay, so when did God call us to adopt? Daniel, I'd like for you to begin with that one.
Yep, because it starts
you.
with me first.
Yeah.
So around in my 20s or so, early 20s, it just, something, you know, I guess God placed on my heart early on in my life. And it was just a strong desire to one day adopt. And it
Did you visit an orphanage? I thought you had.
Yes,
like
I did. I worked at an orphanage in high school,
trip?
and on a missions trip. No, I don't think so. But like, I worked at an orphanage in high school. I don't know if it came from that specifically. That was a moving moment to see all those little orphan kids. But yeah, it's just one of those odd things that like you'd never think a young man in his 20s, when he's thinking of his career and future and life goals and everything else. Why is there this strong desire to adopt? Not even married. Not even married, and there I am like, yeah, I want to adopt one day. So yeah, so that's how it started with me. And then when we got married, I think I told you, even before we got married, I told you I'd like to adopt one day. You know? And then we started having children and had the first one. And I always thought, well, I'd still like to adopt one day. Second, third, fourth, fifth. Well, fourth. And then still really wanted to adopt, and I really felt like this was the time. And I told you all along the way, I really want to adopt. I really want to adopt. And you never had that same feeling I did.
No. So I didn't necessarily. Isn't that interesting? Because you normally hear the reverse. The wife wants to adopt and the husband's not quite on board. It was the opposite for us, truly. I always felt like if I could have my own children naturally, then why in the world would I adopt? I honestly felt that way. For me, adoption was for people that had fertility problems. You know, I didn't really see it as like a kind of a bigger thing, like a God thing or a divine thing, or you know,
a mission.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
An opportunity.
I mean, God obviously had to work on my heart, and so He did, and God really totally changed my heart. And it wasn't that, well, Daniel wants to, so I really need to just kind of be on board. No, God completely changed my heart, and I had a passion and the same desire, and felt like we were totally supposed to do it, and that it was God's calling, and you don't ignore that. So
then we both.
So yeah, and so that happened when I was pregnant with Sebastian. Then. So I was pregnant with Sebastian. I think that's when I was like, yes, we gotta do it. So that's the answer to that question. So why domestic? Domestic. So why domestic as opposed international? That's kind of
I mean, I think that there's a ministry. I think that it both is very needed.
Yeah.
And if people are only talking about international because it's popular or it's what celebrities do or whatever, and everybody just goes that direction because it's popular, then there would be a need for domestic. Or if the reverse happened, everybody said, well, it's just easier to do domestic, then no one would go international. So, I mean, I think it just God places that desire in your heart. I mean, and some people who adopt multiple children do some domestic and some international. I guess for us, we just started to kind of form the opinion that it was like we were very strong pro-life.
Yeah.
So we wanted to contribite to being pro-life.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's like I'm not a huge fan of, picketing and going to that's not my personal conviction. Is to go stand out at the abortion clinics and
say don't kill babies.
Yeah. But for me, it's I need to put my money where my mouth. If I'm going to be pro-life, then I'm going to be pro-life, and I'm going to give those mothers another option. Because it's really easy to say, don't murder your baby, but I'm not going to help out. I'm not going to take it. So for us, that just that's why I think we were led to domestic. It's just our stance on life and the value of it. So yeah. All right, our biggest fears. Let me go.
You first.
I have a lot of fears, and my viewers know that. Okay, but pertaining to adoption, my biggest fears. I had a couple. I think one is natural. I don't know if all moms feel this way, but I was genuinely worried that I was not going to be able to love a child that was not birthed for me. It seems very silly now, but it was very real. And I remember feeling something similar when I was pregnant with Brinley. I was so worried that I could not love a second child, which is ridiculous, and adoption is the exact same, ridiculousness. But I had, you don't carry this baby, so there's not this real bond formed for 9 months. So it is very different. But I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to love, but that's not a problem. So the other fear I had was that a birth mom would never pick us, or that it would take years for us to get placed, because we already had 4 children. And I had a lot of fear that a mom would not see the value in our large family and placing her child with us. So those were a couple of my fears.
Yeah, my 2 main fears, biggest fears, was one, the same one as yours, which it would take forever.
Yeah.
We'd never be able to adopt and wouldn't choose us.
Yeah.
My other one was finances.
Yeah.
So I was worried, how are we going to come up with the money? How will we pay it off? How long will it take to pay it off? Will it mess us up for years of financial debt and problems and struggle?
Yeah.
Just because we wanted to adopt. So those were.
Yeah. And you know what? God worked them all out, and He always does. And
that's right.
So I encourage any of you, if you have those fears, to just ignore them, because if you're called to adopt, it's going to work out and it'll be fine. So, yeah. Okay, so how long did it take? How long does adoption take? Well, it varies from family to family, right? And so let's talk about.
Some people are short. I mean,
well, yes.
Have you heard those stories?
Yes, I have.
Days, weeks.
Right. Yes. But when we got the paperwork in the mail, so let's talk about not the waiting. We'll talk there's the waiting,
from the very beginning,
and then there's the from the very beginning. And when we got the paperwork that was like this, we both looked at each other and were like, can we do this? Do we want to do this?
Yeah.
Because that alone is intimidating, and that can take. Honestly, that can take as long as you kind of.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want to do it. We did it fast.
So we dedicated every night.
Yeah, to filling out all
consecutive nights in a row, which is one paperwork night after night, and just knocked it out as fast as we could.
I started pursuing.
2 weeks.
Well, I don't remember.
Doing the paperwork.
It was fast. Yeah, probably. But we started pursuing adoption when Seb was 3 months old. So he was 3 months old when we started investigating adoption agencies. And we got Hampton when Sebi was not quite 2. So that was from beginning to end. On the waiting list, waiting to be placed was about 9 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there. And that was tough because families were getting placed before us that had not been waiting as long. So that was really tough and discouraging. And I would have a tendency to get really upset and mad. But then somebody told, I would love to give credit to this person, and I can't remember who told me. She said, because I was getting upset about other families getting placed. And she said, but that wasn't your baby. And it was so profound, so simple. But when she said it, I was like,
wow.
You're right. That wasn't my baby. And such simple words, but it changed me. After she said that, I never got upset because that wasn't our baby. And so then you can kind of rejoice with those families, which is what you should be doing, you know. It's very difficult though. A light just went off on, I don't know where I was going with that, but.
And then the time it takes.
Yeah, yes, right. So I feel like our wait wasn't, compared to some people wait years, some people wait weeks.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it ranges.
Yeah, but it wasn't our baby, and it's just about God's timing. And there's a much, the story surrounding how Hampton came to us is a miracle, and it would lengthen this video considerably, but if you're interested in those details, we'd be happy to share as much as we can. But it was a real amazing miracle how God placed Hampton into our lives. Like it was totally meant to be. All the details, it was like, wow, we just knew that
He was for us.
He was for us. The call. So the call is exactly what you would think it is. It's the call from your adoption agency.
Yep. So I got the call one night, Doris from Christian Adoption Services, and she just went right into it. She just said, I have a baby available. It's high risk, meaning
the mother
is bonded with the child. It may or may not work out for you. And she said, would you be willing to go ahead and take the baby, place the baby in your home, and wait that 7-day waiting period with the risk that the mother might say, yes, I want the baby back. So I was like, it was no question. I was like, yes. I mean, as soon as she asked that question, I said, yes, we will take the baby. It doesn't matter if the mother is bonded and then she does ask for the baby back, but we'll take the baby. So then
I was upstairs.
I didn't even know. You weren't in front of me.
No, I was watching TV.
She didn't even know I had taken a call. She went like, oh, is that a call? Yeah. I was just happening to be downstairs. She didn't even see it. So I would go running up the stairs to come tell her. And my face must have been like.
It was like you had seen a ghost.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
And you probably knew right away that I was about to tell you.
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you said?
No.
Oh. I thought he was about to say it. But you remember what you said? No. What, was it that memorable? I'll tell you what he said, because I remember he said, how about we go tomorrow and pick up a baby?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? This was on Sunday night, and we had to drive to Charlotte the next morning to go pick him up. And I ran to Target actually I walked into Target and they were announcing the store is closing in 5 minutes. I was like, I need diapers, I need formula, my baby's coming tomorrow. And so I grabbed everything that I could and we
called my parents to take care of the kids.
That's right. So the call was pretty awesome.
It was exciting,
and
so exciting. We were
some people get a week's notice, a few months notice, or 12 hours. That's what we got.
Yep.
Okay, so the moment that we met Bones. Hampton.
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones. You want me to go?
I'll start. So we were sitting, talking to Doris.
We were at our agency.
At the agency in
dying.
Matthews.
I'm dying.
Yes.
Ready.
I don't
even care what she has to say.
So excited.
Yeah.
And they have Hampton back somewhere else.
He wasn't even
he
there
hadn't arrived yet?
No, he hadn't arrived yet.
And I'm probably peeking, like waiting for somebody to pull up. Like, when's this baby coming?
Yeah.
They got to sit in there,
Yeah.
we're chatting and all this. Like, And so then I think they say, I think the baby's here. And so we get all
And Doris
prepared.
loves to talk, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh gosh.
Yes. And so she's like, get your cameras ready.
Okay.
Okay. And then so for them it's a really special moment to have the baby and the parents meet.
Yeah.
For them it's really
The
exciting.
entire office
Yes.
gets in on it, and they come in.
Yes. The office
Yes.
comes in.
Everybody
Yeah.
in the room.
Yes. And so they say, okay, here comes the baby. And so
Aww.
they open up that door, and marching in is this little baby, little skinny little Hampton.
Yeah, and you would never believe the skinny little tiny baby.
Chubby now, but he was skinny.
Oh, and she brings him to you, and they're all like marching him in, and then everybody comes into the room, and they're all gathered around, and they're all taking pictures,
Yes.
and then they hand you your baby, and they're all like just emotional, and it was just like
Amazing.
surreal. It was amazing,
Yes.
and the staff was great, and you're handed your baby. It's like, here he is.
Yeah.
And he's yours.
Yeah.
He's completely yours. And such, a moment you just really can't put into words or describe, because, having experienced birth and this, they're very different, both equally amazing and spectacular, but so different, and so different to leave with your baby, and you're like, is this our baby? Like, we're okay to take this baby home?
Yeah, somebody just gave me this baby.
Yeah. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of our experience.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I mean, we do not have an open adoption per se. It's closed, but there is still some communication. So she does get updates. We have very sweet letters that she has written and that we have saved for him. We are thankful for her and so grateful that she loved Hampton enough to give him life and to choose life and to hand her most precious thing over to us.
Mm-hmm.
That is that takes a lot of courage. So we're really grateful for her and all the other birth mothers that make that sacrificial choice. That's love. I think people often think, oh, they don't love their baby. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
It's
Once you
just
get
not
to
true.
hear the stories of the birth mothers.
Yeah, that is love. It's something that a love that I don't know that I completely understand. But we love Hampton, and he's 3.5 years old, and we forget that he's adopted. I forget, and I forget, I don't even think about it. He's biracial, so obviously he looks very different, but it's just amazing how you don't see that anymore. And I don't think other people see that are in our lives. And what's neat about him being biracial is that it opens the door for a lot of conversation, because immediately people recognize that he must be adopted.
Right.
And so people are so curious in a good way, and they want to hear the story, and we're always open to sharing the story. It's been a neat experience for our family, for our children, to be a part of it, and to see like the gospel displayed in a very tangible way for them. And so if we were about 20 years younger, maybe we'd adopt again.
That's right.
But internationally, yeah.
That's what
which
we talked about.
Yeah,
We
did. I know.
We'll have one domestic, one international.
We absolutely had discussed that, and hey, we're still breathing air. So if God, calls us to that, then He calls us to that. But thanks for listening, guys, to our story. We really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us, and we are happy to answer any questions. All right, love you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Glasses on.
See ya.
Glasses on.